Hello and welcome back to Self-Made, the podcast that is now 90-something episodes in and still doesn't have a proper intro. So I think I tend to forget that this may be your first time listening to me and I'm just jumping into every episode straight away and there's no intro, there's nothing, we're just straight into it and you might not even know who I am. So if on the off chance you're new here, hi, my name is Jason Shipway, also known as Jason Cleans. And if you can't already tell by the nature and the vibe of this podcast, this is a podcast all about the cleaning business and how to start, grow, and scale cleaning business. I have my own cleaning business. It does pretty well. And so I just kind of extract thoughts and ideas and experiences from the depths of my head, get them out there into a podcast and hope and pray that people can benefit from it and grow with me. So with that being said, we have a good episode lined up today. I'm going to be talking about something I'm not sure if I touched on in the last episode where I talked about, I think like content marketing and stuff like that. And there was this thing that I wanted to talk about, but I just didn't get to it. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the episode, but it was this concept of a Dream 100. And we're going to talk about that a bit in this episode, as well as some other things and the whole kind of premise behind all of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is proactive marketing, where we don't see enough proactive marketers in not only just this business, but any other industry. There are too many business owners out there that are just sitting by the phone, waiting and hoping that it's going to ring. And of course, it's never going to because they're not proactive and they're not putting their best foot forward in their marketing efforts and making stuff happen for themselves. They're just hoping that it comes to them. It's like that old adage of, build it and they will come. Simply not the case. But anyway, that will be what we're going to dive into. But in other news, something exciting happened today. I got invited to the TikTok Awards. So it's currently, I don't know when you're listening to this, it could be well in the future, but right now it's November in 2025. I've just been invited to the TikTok Awards, which are at the end of this month. So that's very, very exciting, very cool. Sophie Monk is the host. I think Robert Irwin was the host last year. So there's gonna be a lot of cool people there, and yeah, it'll be a fun time. And I've never been invited to like a TikTok event like this, so I was very surprised. I got the invite. I got 2 tickets, so I'll be going to Sydney and in a couple of weeks at the end of this month, and it should be a great time. I should hopefully get a lot of content and meet some cool people. And yeah, I thought I'd share that with you because I was blown away by the fact that I got invited to that. And yeah, so I got this idea for this episode today because I recently expanded my business in Perth. So I've got a cleaning business in Bunbury, which is a city located a couple hours south of Perth, Australia. And I've also got a location in Perth. And if you don't know Perth, if you're not from here or you just don't know anything about it, which is fair enough because no one really knows anything about Perth if you're outside of Australia. Perth is, I think, the most isolated capital city in the world, something like that. I think that's the official title it has. And it's also, I believe, the most spread out capital city in the world. So from North Perth, like the very northern point of Perth, to the very southern point, it's like 3.5 hours. It's like over 300 kilometers. It's absurdly long. And so when we expanded into Perth, we expanded into kind of the middle region and we hadn't tapped into the south or the north. And so we expanded into kind of the middle of Perth around the CBD, that central hub. And I recently expanded a bit further south. So we're now inching closer to our main location in Bunbury. And in doing so, in kind of the build up to this over the past year, I've been collecting a lot of leads in this area and I've just been putting them onto a wait list and giving them an offer, like telling them that they'll get an offer at some point once we expand to that area. And so just like keep an ear out and one day we'll get in touch and we'll be able to service for them. So I had that kind of ticking away in the background for a long time. And we recently made that expansion. Like I'm talking like the last few days, we've made inroads into this new location. And so I went and dug into my wait list because I'm like, well, the best thing I can do to kickstart this is just go to this big honeypot that I have where I have a bunch of people who have put up their hand and said, hey, I want you to clean my house in this area. And so obviously that's the first place I'm going to go because that's just low hanging fruit. And it's I just went there to the wait list. I texted a bunch of people. It was a couple dozen, and within an hour, I had like 10 replies for people that wanted quotes. So can you imagine like starting a business from scratch, not having anything, and then just like sending out a couple messages and having clients straight away? And as we know, with recurring revenue, each of those clients is worth $5,000 to $10,000 a year, depending on who they are. And so, I've already got clients and we haven't even really expanded there yet. And, the value of that is going to be like $50,000 from day zero, essentially. So very, very cool. And that's what gave me the idea to talk about an episode where we go into proactive marketing, which is what that was. I was doing those marketing efforts long before I ever needed them. And, that concept of digging your well before you're thirsty, that it's very intrinsic to that. But it's more so to do with just being proactive, just realizing that so many opportunities are going to pass you by if you choose to let them do that, if you choose to not do anything about them. So I've been collecting leads. I've had a newsletter. I've done all these different things, and I've built kind of like a Dream 100. It's not really a Dream 100 though. It's more like a Dream 20. And we'll talk about that in a second. But if you don't have a wait list now, because I see so many cleaners that are like, I'm at capacity, I don't know what to do. When do I start hiring? When do I start doing this? I'm like saying no to so many people and turning away leads. I'm like, the very first thing you should do, if you're unsure about it, is simply just start collecting these leads and put them into a wait list, because you may need them in the very near future. You may take on a new staff member, and then all of a sudden you have this new problem where you're like, how do I give myself work again? Or how do I give another staff member work? I've suddenly just split my workload in half and now I've got nothing. Whereas if you had consolidated these unserviced leads into a wait list and like gave them some sort of offer for waiting and structured it that way, then you could just dip into that honeypot whenever you needed it, and then you could cash out. And it's very, very easy because those are hot leads ready to go, rather than, going back out there into the marketplace when you need them and then, trying to claw away at whatever you can get. And it's like fighting for scraps. So if you don't already have a wait list, if you're kind of at that point where you're near capacity or you're at capacity, even if it's people that are inquiring from different areas that you don't service yet, you should put them into a segmented waiting list. So we have a couple of different waiting lists. We have obviously our waiting list, which is for when we're at capacity and we simply can't take on any clients at this stage. We put them into a wait list. We promise them that they'll get an offer at some point when a spot opens up. And that offer is for like half price off their first regular clean, which is a really good offer. And it just entices them so that if they do get a cleaner in the meantime, which they're very likely to do, it's like, it's that example of, if you go to a hairdresser and they say, the wait's going to be 2 or 3 hours. You just walk 50 meters down the street to the next hairdresser and then you go get your hair cut and you're happy. Same kind of thing with cleaners. If you're booked out, no matter how much someone wants you, they're just going to go to the next person. They're not going to wait for you. Well, it's very unlikely they would. So they're going to go to the next cleaner. And so you just give them an offer when you open up a new spot or you expand to that area, and that just entices them to come over to your side of the fence. But anyway, you do that. Then you can also have an out of range list, which is what we have as well. We have whenever someone inquires, and we get inquiries from all around the country and even all around the world. I've had people from America inquiring, and it's like, first of all, can't you clearly see that we're an Australian-based business, and furthermore, a West Australian business? So anyway, but we get inquiries all around the world, people in Sydney, people in Melbourne, people in Brisbane. We always just put them into a segmented list, which is our out of range list. And so when we have a workflow so that when we put them into that segmented list or that segmented part of the list, they automatically get sent an email, which basically just says like, thanks for submitting a quote. These are our service areas. Unfortunately, you're outside of our service area, but we may open up around you in the future. And when we do so, we'll contact you with a really great offer for cleaning and we'll get you on board, something like that. So then we have a list for that. Right, so we have these different segments and these different types of lists based on the factor that we can't actually service them for. So if we're at capacity, there's a list for that. If they're out of range, there's a list for that. If it's a type of service that we don't service yet, there is a list for that as well. So then there's some things like vacate cleans. Like we leave a lot of money on the table with vacate cleans, but what we're doing now is we're building like a list of contractors, like referral partners that we have, and we're now sending those unserviced leads to them, and we're doing something cool with that, which I'll get into as well. So it's just proactive marketing like this, because you may not think you'll need them. You may be worried about the wrong thing, but believe me when I say this, if you start collecting a waitlist, if you start building a newsletter, if you start doing this and that, eventually you'll get to the point where you've grown the business, and at a certain part of the journey, everyone will face the same problem. And that's you can't get enough qualified leads and you can't convert enough people into paying customers. And then you just go down this cycle of never having enough, and then you've overexpanded or you've over leveraged yourself, and a lot of people just scale back as a result. It's either they don't have enough customers or they don't have enough staff. And so it's a hard balancing act, but a big part of not having enough customers is usually when you try to get to that stage of growth where you're hiring staff and you're doing all these things, is that you're really letting the marketing go lax, because a lot of people, they'll spend, it might take you a year to fill up your books, and then you get there and you're like, oh yes, I'm going to go hire someone now. And then you hire someone and all of a sudden you try to do what you just did in the past year in the next month, and you find it difficult and you're like, why can't I do this? And you start going through all these motions in your head. But that's why the proactive marketing side of the advertising in the business is so important. It's because you want to have all these different channels running. You want to have your active marketing, which could be, Google ads, it could be your Facebook ads, it could be TikTok, it could be whatever. But you also want to have these passive marketing channels, which could be your waitlist, it could be a newsletter. And every time someone comes onto your website or onto your Facebook page, even if they don't buy right now, if you think of it, the pyramid of customers, only like a very small percentage of people are ready to buy right now. There's people that are never going to buy. There's people that aren't ready to buy right now, but they might be in future. And that part of the pyramid, you want to catch them in a funnel. You want to at least collect their details and give them some sort of offer or some sort of call to action or hook to get them onto a newsletter. And you'd be very, very surprised at how easy it is to convert people from a newsletter into paying customers, because as we know, it takes so many points of contact, sometimes 15 points of contact for someone to become a customer. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people are losing sight of or losing focus of, is that it can take a lot of trust to build, especially in a business relationship like a cleaner and a customer. Like, it's a very, very personal relationship. And for a lot of people, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. There's a lot of trust that needs to be built. And there's a lot of rapport that needs to be introduced into that relationship, even before you've ever met that person. So a newsletter is a great way to do that. If you're not currently collecting emails of people that just bounce off your website, you should be doing that. Everyone that comes to your website is someone that is obviously interested in cleaning in some way. And they, even if they don't buy right now, which is the majority of them, they most certainly will be in future. They've pre-qualified themselves as someone that is interested in what you're selling. So if they can give you their details, that is just making them an even warmer lead. And you now have the ability to remarket to that person and keep them engaged and at the top of consciousness, or you can be at the top of their consciousness in the form of a newsletter. And it can just be as simple as like a monthly newsletter. You don't have to be overbearing. Like, there's people that will do like twice or 3 times a week. I'd say once a fortnight is plenty. Once a month is fine as well. If you just start collecting leads, eventually, you can have a list of hundreds of people in your area, whatever that area is, and you can just send out little monthly newsletters that could be like, 7 things you need to know before hiring a house cleaner, or 7 things you need to know about mold in your bathroom, or this $8 product at Kmart is a lifesaver for cleaning your blinds. And then in every email, you can also position an offer in there, like if you like this, or if you like keeping your house clean, if you like these emails and you want to stay on top of the housework, but you just don't have the time, book a free cleaning quote with us and get 15% off your first clean, or whatever offer you want to throw in there. Just drop that whole mentality of like every contact needs to be a sale. And if it's not, then it's a dead lead. Because the thing with TikTok as well is, and like Instagram and Facebook videos and all that stuff, is that a lot of old school marketers, and even a lot of marketers I see just that are still relevant today, they'll see that you've got like, 1 million view video and you're like pumped about it and you say, oh, it's great for businesses, this is getting me a lot of leads. And then they're like, okay, but how many leads did you get from that video? Or like how many customers did you get from that video? How many did you track? And it's like, well, you can't really answer that because it's not really something you can track. The videos that you create online, it may just be that first point of contact or that second or third or fourth. And you may just be planting seeds in the customer's mind, and you may be slowly answering questions over time, and they're spending more time with you by consuming your content, whether it be watching your videos or reading your blog post or reading your monthly newsletter. And then eventually they do buy. And that's not something you can track. You can't be like, oh yeah, this person was introduced into my audience, 11 months ago and consumed each piece of my content since then and watched like 20 videos, and they've got 15 hours of watch time, and then they saw this video and then they contacted and became a customer. This is just stuff you can't track, but it's passively running in the background, and it's building trust, and it's building that brand recognition and that rapport with your core audience that you can't see it, you can't feel it, but it is paying off in the long run. And so a lot of people, they do like this kind of burst marketing where they'll post a bunch of different stuff on Instagram or Facebook at once. They'll go into the Facebook groups and they'll post a whole bunch of different ads in there. They might run a Facebook ad for a month and it doesn't really do well for them, so they cut it off. They might try Google ads. They just do a bunch of stuff here and there, and it's very sporadic, and it's like burst firing a whole bunch of different things in different areas. But what most people are missing out on is that long-term brand building, which is going to be the most sustainable way to build an audience. It's what I've done on TikTok. I've now got, like 40 or 50 million views on my videos. I've got over 100,000 followers across my Instagram and TikTok. And leads just trickle in every day. Like 30 to 40% of my customers now come from TikTok and Instagram. And they just, like I said, they trickle through. And it's not something I can measure. It's not something that I can predict. But because I've built that audience over a long time, because I've been making this content for so long now, there's just people coming into my audience every day, and then they consume my content and they see me on their feed all the time, and they watch my stories, and they they enter into my free cleaning competitions, and eventually, when they get to the point where they want to buy, because remember, not everyone is at the point where they want to buy right now, but they probably will be in future. When they get to that point, you're the first person they think of because you have been marketing to them for so long, and you've been in their face and in their ear or in their email inbox for so long. So it's a really important thing. That was a really long spiel about newsletters. I think newsletters are great still in 2025 and going into 2026. If you don't have a newsletter, you should have one. It's a very, very low effort form of marketing. And it's also great because it's marketing that you own and that you control. Once you have someone's email and they've given you consent to market to them, that is the most powerful form of marketing you can have, because no one can take that away from you. There's no algorithm that can kill that. There's no platform that's in control of that. You own that asset, you own that marketing material, and you can also that contact, and you can market to them for as long as you can until they opt out or die, one or the other. And so newsletters, very important, and it's a very, very important piece of the proactive marketing puzzle, and it's something that you can put your waitlist into. So if you have a waitlist and you have like an out of service range list as well, you can put them into the same newsletter that you have all your other newsletter people in, all your other newsletter members in. They can all be in the same thing, and you just send that one email a month. It could just be an educational thing. It could just be like, oh wow, look at this new product I found at Bunnings that I thought was really cool, or this new product at Kmart that's like taking over households around Australia, or this mold product, or like, this is what mold really is, and these are facts about it that you need to know, and so many different things. And you can create thousands of content pieces through AI and ChatGPT and whatever else, and you don't even have to do the work. You can just make little fine tweaks to it and fine tune it. And so, if it's just once a month, like really, how much time is that going to take you, and how hard is that? So that's something you should start doing. And so think about just how you can start to build a newsletter, build a wait list. In the beginning, it's not going to feel like much. You might get a few people on there, but over time, over the span of, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, that list is really going to build, and you're going to have a really juicy marketing asset there. Like, I'm 6 years in now. I have a massive list that I can dip into whenever I need it. So waitlist, newsletter, two very important things that you should be focusing on with your proactive marketing so that you can build long-term sustainability, especially going into this really unknown era of AI and AI search engines, and Google's losing market share for the first time ever, and all these different algorithms are changing, and social media platforms, it's all a bit up in the air, and no one really knows what's going to happen. So those are two things you control, and you should be doing that. So newsletter and the waitlist. So the other thing I want to talk about is the Dream 100. I'm not sure if I touched on this in the last episode or not, but essentially the Dream 100 method is this principle that I picked up from Russell Brunson, who I think got it from Tony Robbins, who I think got it from the great Chet Holmes, who I don't even know if he made it. So, but basically the Dream 100 is this concept of how business owners can, or just entrepreneurs in general, they can find 100 dream clients or partners or referral sources. And instead of chasing thousands of random people and trying to market to everyone, you just nurture 100 of the people that are going to matter most, or the 100 businesses that are going to matter most and refer you the most business or bring you the most customers. And you build relationships with them. And then this compounding effect happens, or this snowball effect happens, where you get even if you don't get a Dream 100, you get a Dream 10 or 20 like me, and you have a bunch of people, maybe it's a dozen people that refer you clients on a consistent basis. If you just have 10 good, solid working relationships with like real estate agents, or like a boutique builder, or it could be like an accountant that refers you commercial clients, if they just send you a couple of customers every month each, then you've got a really, really good nurture system for bringing in new clients that you don't have to spend any money to get. And it also has the added benefit of them being a referral. So it's coming from a trusted source that is vouching for you, and that makes the sale a whole lot easier because that lead becomes a lot more nurtured and a lot hotter as well. So most cleaners, they just sit around, again, waiting for the phone to ring. But a lot of great business owners, especially the ones that have been in business for a long time and they've built great relationships, they already know who they want to work with, and they spend every week just staying in front of those people. And that's what Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson and all those guys, they call the Dream 100 strategy. And it completely changes how you grow a business. So in a cleaning business, that can look like your Dream 100. It could consist of property managers. It could be strata companies. It could be builders. It could be schools. It could be tutors. It could be medical centers or medical practitioners, or any sub-branch of the medical industry, just people and businesses in that space. It could be like aged care facilities. You could have a Dream 100 list of just gyms. You could literally have 100 gyms on your Dream 100 list that you just build a relationship with. It could be influencers even. I have influencers on my Dream 100 lists now that send me work as well. There's this guy, kind of getting sidetracked here, there's this guy who is an interior designer in Perth, and he sends me really high quality clients, like celebrities. And you're not going to get those sort of people any other way than having that referral source. So influencers, community pages. You can build a Dream 100 list of just people that own community groups on Facebook in the areas that you work in, and you can get to know them and get them to like you and build that rapport. And then over time, you dig your well before you're thirsty. If you listen to that last episode, I think it was the last episode, you just give, and then one day you can finally take, and you can finally receive in the form of referrals and getting customers. But you can't just go in there. You can't just build a list of 100 people that have your ideal customers and then just go straight to them and be like, hey, my name's Jason. I own a cleaning business. You have my customers. I want them. Can you give them to me? That's not how this concept works. It's a very long-term play. And again, it's what this whole episode is really about. It's about the long-term, proactive, passive marketing. So the Dream 100 is a really, really good way to build long-term sustainability as well. And so all you do is, I think I talked about this in the last episode as well, just finding people on Instagram, like finding real estate agents on Instagram, following them, liking their stories, liking their posts, just swiping up on some of their stories, and then building a relationship. And then maybe after a couple of weeks, you add them on LinkedIn, and then all of a sudden LinkedIn is more of a professional space where you can message about business rather than Instagram, which is more like, oh, I like your dog, or oh, that burger looks good. Where'd you get that? You go on LinkedIn, you can then have a more serious discussion about business, and over time, you you can get them onto a newsletter as well. If you had a Dream 100 list of real estate agents and people in that kind of industry and builders and stuff, you could put them on a separate newsletter that you send once a month that just has tips that are tailored towards that market. There's so many things you can do, and there's so many avenues that you can explore. But the main idea here is just to like create a spreadsheet of 100 people or 100 businesses that you know have your ideal customer, that you know would be a great referral partner for you, and then just begin to build relationships with them. It's really not hard. Just, collect their email, collect their phone number, find their social medias, and really just engage with them. And it might seem like a lot, but if you just start small, start with like 10 people, just build a rapport with 10 people, and then you can go to 20 and then 30, and then this compounding and this snowballing effect will take place where once you get to know a few people, they will start to refer other Dream 100 people to you as well. Like one real estate agent might really like you and then refer you to another real estate agent who can also refer more work to you. The same thing happens in like the medical centers that we have. We've got so many medical centers that we clean that have been referred to us by other medical centers. Like they all know each other. It's like one big club. And if you can get in there, and they like you, then they'll send you work. There's no doubt about that. But again, it's a very long-term, slow play. So I recommend having a spreadsheet and really thinking about who your ideal customer avatar is. And then furthermore, what types of businesses and what types of people, maybe even influencers, have that type of customer. And you can build that relationship, build that rapport, and you can just be a trusted referral source or a trusted referral partner that people can send business to. And they'll feel good about it because they're helping their friends, their customers, their colleagues, whoever it is, find a cleaning service that they can trust and they can depend on that is good quality. And sometimes that's all you need. And then other times you may be able to work out, some sort of offer where you give them a cut of, the customer value or the initial clean or some sort of referral bonus. That's something you can do with your Dream 100 as well. But this is just a way that you can leverage other people's audiences, leverage other people's customer bases, and other people's reach on social media if that's kind of the type of people you're looking for. So the Dream 100 is a really good strategy for, like I said, leveraging. It's just, you don't have what you don't have, but the types of people and the types of influencers and businesses that have your type of customer. Like for me, I've gotten lots of great referrals from my accountant because my accountant obviously has a lot of business owners on her books. And so she can send business owners through to me that may need cleaning for their business. I've got a real estate agent that I have a great working relationship with, Mike. He sent me lots of leads, lots of customers for like post-build cleans and stuff like that. And you start to get an idea of what type of people have your ideal customer, and you just get in front of them. You just start to engage with them, and you don't even have to spend money. You just spend time, and you just plant the seed, and really you just make friends. That's what it really boils down to. Like I've got people that I just have been following. There's still heaps of people that I engage with all the time that I've never asked for anything from, or I've never gotten anything from, but I know that one day something's going to click, and I will be able to, leverage that opportunity and maybe get customers or even get another referral partner from them. It doesn't have to be in the form of a customer. So I hope you're following with this. I hope this is making a bit of sense. I know I have a tendency to just like go on and just like rapid fire nonstop, but yeah, I hope this is kind of piecing it together in your head about this whole concept. So you can start to build your Dream 100 list by just like, starting with if you already have clients, start with your existing top clients. Like who do they know that you could also, build a relationship with, and you can use that kind of inroad, that existing relationship as a bargaining chip in getting other people to like you and trust you as well. You can use Google Maps, you can use Facebook groups, you can use LinkedIn and real estate directories to find more people to bring into your Dream 100. And you can add them all into a simple spreadsheet or a Notion database with like business name, the person's name, email, phone, socials, the date you've contacted them, notes about them, a follow-up plan, like just basic interests about them. So you can send them personalized messages and whatever else, and then you can nurture them with proactive marketing like email newsletters, like just quick tips, before and afters, funny moments, like stories, anecdotes, helpful information, education, client wins and testimonials and case studies, whatever it may be. You can send them DMs, like just comment and engage with their content. People love that, especially in like the real estate industry. They absolutely love people that engage with their content because they are very much vanity over sanity metrics. They care a lot more about having like a lot of followers and a lot of likes on their photos than just making commissions and making sales. Trust me. You can do like personalized drop bys and handwritten notes if they're people that are local to you, like especially with real estate agents, you can just go in there with a coffee and just like drop the note off, a little like handwritten note off or card to reception. Obviously that might come once the people actually know who you are and, you know, you're not just a complete stranger because you don't want to be seen like a stalker. But, you know, that's just another example. It's something I've done before. I've dropped chocolates off to a real estate agent in Bunbury. I haven't left a handwritten note, but I left like a little card with just some things I printed out on it, and we've gotten clients from them. They still hit us up every now and then, but we turn them away because we don't really do vacate cleans anymore. But it worked and it's cool. You know, you can do wait lists as well in addition to the newsletter, because obviously a wait list is really easy to set up and to build. And you can do updates and like seasonal offers, like, you know, we're opening 3 new recurring slots in this area this month, or we're doing this Christmas special, and that can get sent out to your newsletter. And also you can just send people DMs with that stuff. But really just working on building that rapport and just getting in front of people more and staying at the top of consciousness. And that's why it works. It's because people rarely hire simply the cheapest or who they think is the best cleaner. Like most of the time they're going to hire the familiar one, or they're going to refer the familiar one to a friend. I still get lots of referrals from people that just know who I am. Like I'll get a customer and they'll tell me like they were referred to me by someone that I've just kind of followed and gone back and forth with on Instagram in the DMs and just like liking their photos and commenting on theirs, and they comment on mine, and we have like this Instagram friendship. And I've never met them before, but they know me and they know my content. And so when they have a friend or a family member that's like talking about cleaning, they instantly think of me and they refer me. So it's like the easiest sell ever. And I'm also making cool friends in the process. And so that's kind of how it works. And like the more they see you, the safer that you feel to them, and the more that trust component builds, which is the important thing. So even if it takes 6 months, when they're ready, you're the first name they think of. If it's a newsletter, if you're just keeping on top of the socials and you're building that rapport and that engagement on social media with people in your Dream 100, as long as you stay at the top of consciousness, even if it takes months and months to build, eventually when they're ready, you're the first name that they think of when they need a cleaner, when someone they know needs a cleaner, or their customer, you're the first person they think of and will refer to, because they know you and they trust you, because that relationship has been building and you haven't just gone straight to them and be like, this person has my customers, please give them to me. Doesn't quite work like that. And then you bring it all together. So, you know, the Dream 100 it's really about depth, not width. So the number component of that is a bit irrelevant. If you just start with a Dream 5 or a Dream 10 and you really work hard at building depth in those relationships, instead of just going for numbers and width, have a couple of good property managers, maybe a couple of builders, or, maybe some influencers or other people in adjacent industries to you on Instagram that also have like personal brands and they post content. Just build like some relationships with them, get to know them, let them get to know you. And then next time they know someone that needs a cleaner, next time they have a customer that talks about cleaning, they will refer you, and you can start to get this passive stream of really hot leads coming in from people that know you, like you, and trust you. So yeah, in closing, don't wait for your clients to find you. Go build your Dream 100 and stay in their world. Build wait lists, build a newsletter, stay at the top of people's consciousness, whether it's like literally just doing a once a month newsletter, doing like gift drops, doing quick check-ins with people, engaging with people on Instagram and LinkedIn and messaging them. Like it all compounds. So be proactive, not reactive, and watch your leads like turn into real loyal customers that are going to stick around long term and really like you, and not just go with you because of a price or because they like the colors in your logo, but because someone they know and they like and they trust has referred you to them, or because you've built up this rapport and this image of your brand and yourself through repeated marketing efforts over a long period of time by having that person in your audience or in your newsletter or on your waitlist or whatever it is. And then that's when it really happens. That's when the magic formula really comes together and you have a business that just grows like wildfire. Because it's not just about having the best Google ads or the best Facebook ads or the best TikTok videos. It's about, of course, having that stuff, but also having this really powerful, proactive and passive marketing and building relationships. That's what people mean when they say you got to network. It's not just going out there into the real world and shaking someone's hand and being like, I'm a cleaning business owner. It's about really working at building a Dream 100 list of people that are in adjacent industries to you, that already have the customers that you're trying to get, and just getting familiar with them and letting them get familiar with you and your services so that they can be a referral partner that sends you customer after customer, lead after lead, and you can do the same for them. If you have a real estate agent in your network and you have a customer that is looking to sell their house, that's the first person you think of. And even if they've sent you nothing, that'll buy you massive brownie points in that relationship. So, it works both ways. And it's a very long-term play. I've been doing it for years for myself. Like, I've been spending years just building relationships and just getting in front of people and staying at the top of people's minds and, constantly engaging and messaging people and just staying relevant in people's worlds, because I want to build a Dream 100. All the successful people I talk to in this industry, they don't even market. They just have good referral partners, like the really big cleaning businesses, the ones you never hear about, the ones you don't even know exist. And if you landed on their website, you'd think nothing of them because they look so cheap and basic. They're the ones that are making like tens of millions of dollars, and they're doing it because they have a couple of good referral partners or a handful of good referral partners that know them, like them, and trust them enough to send them really high quality business, and they don't have to really do anything for that. So it's the most serendipitous type of doing business and marketing, because everyone's happy, everyone loves you, and you don't have to do really a lot for it. So yeah, those were a few things that just popped into my mind that I wanted to harp on about. So hopefully that was of some sort of value to you. I know that I have a tendency to come on here and just kind of brain dump a lot of thoughts without really hashing them out sometimes, but that's just how I roll. And for some people, that's going to really resonate and hit home and be good for them. And for other people, I might not be your cup of tea, but there's, a gajillion podcasts out there in the world. So if I'm not for you, that's fine. You can go listen to the next person. But anyway, if you are new here, I hope this has been a good first episode for you to listen to. And if you're a returning listener, thank you again for volunteering your eardrums to me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, we're still inching closer to 100 episodes. I'm really excited about that. And it was one of the biggest goals I set out when I started this podcast, and just like all the business stuff I do in general. I was like, I want to have a podcast with 100 episodes. Don't even know why. Just thought it would be cool. Thought it would be a good exercise in like discipline and accountability. So we're almost there. And yeah, it's still growing. I love that I have this little audience on here that comes back every week and listens to me talk about things. And I really love the messages that you send me on Instagram and TikTok and even LinkedIn. I had someone message me on there. So, just telling me how this podcast has helped you and how you found it as well. That's really helpful for me, knowing how you discovered it. Some people have said like they Googled something about how to make systems and they somehow stumbled across me. And some people found me from TikTok. Some people actually found me from my morning show appearance on Channel 7. So it's really cool hearing all that. But it's even more cool hearing about how this podcast has helped you in some way. And yeah, I want to continue to do that, continue to serve and just deliver. And yeah, it's weird. Like when I became, I used to be I had a scarcity mindset, and I was scared to help other people and build friendships in this industry because I was so like protective of my stuff and just like very competitive and thought everyone was out to get me. But the day I had that shift and I just became like a servant leader for the people around me and for, people alongside me in this journey, like everything just started to come my way. All the success really started to come my way when I just had that abundance mindset, because I really do believe in that saying of, a rising tide raises all ships. I think that the day that I started helping people and having that spirit and that mentality towards the game and towards just being a giver and less of a taker, that's when I really started to experience success for myself. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much again for listening to another episode of Self-Made, the only podcast in the world that is almost 100 episodes into it and still trying to figure out what the heck it's doing. So maybe one day we'll get there, but only time will tell. So take care, God bless, have a good day or night wherever you are in the world, and I'll speak to you again next time.